How's it going, Pokemon fans? Shane here from JollyMonz. My turn to do another deck profile, and today we're going to do the deck I played at the League Cup. If you may have seen in the report from, would have been a week ago at this point. Yeah, it would have been about a week ago. So for anyone who doesn't know, I played a Solgaleo-Rayquaza turbo deck, essentially. The whole point being to Soul Burst as early as turn 2. And use the Rayquaza from Guardians Rising to get those energy back that you discard with Sunsteel Strike. I think the deck's really fun. I'm not so sure of its place in the meta now. It was really good when there were no fire decks in the meta, like right at the beginning of Guardians Rising's format. You know, Volcanion had been shoved out. You didn't really have to worry about any fire decks popping up. You did have to worry about decks playing Evolutions with Flareon being splashed, but you can play around that a lot easier than you can an entire deck hitting you for double damage. So I'm not too sure where this deck sits currently. We'll have to kind of wait and see how the format develops, with there being some Volcanion lists making day 2, and I think Azul made top 8 with it at Madison. Not too sure I'd take this deck anywhere for the foreseeable future, but you could always play Altar of the Sun. I don't know. We'll have to see. The deck's really good when you don't run into Volcanion, essentially, or Turtonator decks. So, without further ado, we'll go over the deck list. Pretty crucial to doing anything with this deck. For Cosmog, you have to play Cosmog to get the Solgaleo. Typically, you're never really going to Dusk Gathering, because it's so easy to knock out the active Cosmog, especially because you can't Soul Burst till turn 2. Even in a perfect world, you just can't. So you're typically going to want to attach your Metal Energy to a benched Cosmog, not your active, just in case. Because once you Rare Candy to Solgaleo, you just Ultra Road him up to the active anyway. So more often than not, you're probably never going to Dusk Gathering. It's just how it is. Now we're playing 2 Cosmo. Just because Vileplume is still a viable threat in the format, you always have to be prepared for item lock. It's just how it is. Especially with Noivern GX coming out, you'll have to be prepared for that. So you're always going to run at 2 or 3 of your stage 1, just in case. And it never hurts being able to just drop a Cosmome so you don't have to have a Rare Candy to evolve later. Especially because you can Heavy Ball for Cosmome because he has Triple Retreat. So it just gives you an extra search to get the Cosmome that you're normally going to use for Solgaleo, but that option's still there. So, of course, the main guy of the deck here, we've got 4 Solgaleo-GX. The whole purpose here, 1 Metal Energy GX attack to Soul Burst. Search your deck for any 5 energy cards and attach them any way you like to your Pokemon. So, typically you're going to go ahead and grab 2 more Metal to attach to him to get him Sunsteel Strike ready for next turn. You're going to, in a perfect world, you're going to have a Rayquaza already on the bench that you're going to put a DCE onto, and you'll probably have another Cosmome or something that you're going to put 2 Metal Energy on. It's typically what you're going to do, but that changes based on, situations and scenarios. Now, his Sunsteel Strike is 2 Metal and a colorless, so essentially 3 Metal, because you really don't want to discard a DCE for this attack. For 230 damage, but you have to discard all the energy attached to him. Normally, that's not super great, but with cards being printed lately, Rayquaza being the one in this deck, Sun and Moon had Lurantis that he was played with to help recur those energies back. The attacks were really good in energy recurring decks. So he also has Ultra Road, which is really good. Once per turn, you can switch your active with one of your bench Pokemon. You just get a free switch every turn. And if you have multiple Solgaleo, you can get multiple switches. So that's really good. Just being able to switch for free in a format where Float Stone's not as great, because everyone's playing Field Blower to get rid of it. So, it's really good. We are playing one of what people would call the baby Solgaleo, the non-GX Solgaleo, mainly for his Fangs of the Sun attack. For 2 Metal and a colorless, you deal 170 damage. Now, 170 damage will one-shot a lot of things, a lot of just basic level Pokemon, Tapu Lele, a lot, not all EXs, but a fair amount of EXs, like Yveltal, for example, has 170, and there's many others. But another big thing is with a choice band, you're hitting for 200, which will one-shot Umbreon, Espeon, other evolutions, a lot of basic EXs, Lapras without a Fury Belt. You're one-shotting almost every Stage 1 or basic EX, GX in the game that doesn't have like a Fury Belt or something added to it. I know off the top of my head, Lurantis you won't be able to one-shot, but that's the only one off the top of my head. I'm sure there's at least one or two others. Now, obviously, Stage 2s you're not going to be able to one-shot, but, you know, that's because they're really tanky. Shining Arrow's not bad either. Being able to hit the bench for 50 can be really useful in very, very niche situations, but having that line available to you can't be a bad thing. And we're playing 2 Rayquaza from Guardians Rising. He's basically can ignore his third attack. His third attack's just a generic 3 energy for 80 damage. You'll use it once in a blue moon if you need to, but very rarely will you need to do that. He's really only here for his first attack. 2 colorless. Attach 2 basic energy cards from your discard pile to one of your bench Pokemon and deal 30 damage. You're just recurring those energies you discarded with Solgaleo. That's all it is. You Sunsteel Strike, discard those energies. Next turn, Ultra Road into Rayquaza, use Turbo Storm, and bring them back. It's very much a combo deck. Now, for support Pokemon towards this deck, we're playing 2 Tapu Lele. Wonder Tag is really, really important in this deck. Getting a turn 1 Bridget is almost crucial. It's really hard to play the deck without a turn 1 Bridget. Like, you can Sunsteel Strike on turn 2, but if you didn't play a Bridget to get a good amount of Pokemon on the bench, it's still good, but you end up wasting energy almost, so it's kind of eh. But Wonder Tag letting you go turn 1, go get Bridget, play Bridget. If you already had Bridget, you can, you know, next turn you can play Tapu Lele, go get Skyla to search for rare candy. Just being able to Lele for especially Skyla and Bridget is really, really crucial to the deck performing well. I mean, generic attacks also always good. Very rarely are you going to attack with Tapu Lele, but it's just another one of those situations where having that attack available to you can't be a bad thing. So, we are playing 1 Drampa. Very rarely are you going to use Drampa, but Righteous Edge is a very good attack. A very, very good attack. 20 damage, discard a special energy, attach to your opponent's active Pokemon. It's just really good. Getting to discard your opponent's DCEs, Double Dragons, whatever the case may be. If you're playing against Greninja, discard that Splash Energy. It's still good. On the off chance you need to come in and hit hard, Berserk's really good for that. More often than not, your Cosmog is going to take some form of damage, even if they don't knock it out. That opening Cosmog will take damage. So being able to come in and deal 150 with Berserk, and with a choice man 180 is really good. You're never going to use Big Wheel. If there's ever a circumstance where you find yourself using Big Wheel instead of Soul Burst, you've probably already lost that game. So that's all the Pokemon. We're going to move to the supporters. Oh, we're going to shift that a little bit just to put Big Daddy Solgaleo on top. So, supporter-wise, we're going to start with draw supporters. We're playing 2 Hala. Hala's not something you're going to see in too many decks, but it's really good in Solgaleo because your goal is to GX attack on turn 2 every game, and Hala just lets you draw 7 without putting items in your discard pile like Sycamore makes you. So Hala is very, very good in this deck. Now we are still playing 4 Sycamore because drawing 7 cards is very important, especially when you open with a dead hand. Just Sycamoring it away to draw a fresh new 7 is very crucial. We are playing 3N because there are a lot of resources in this deck. We don't want to have to discard rare candies. Like if we open a hand with Ultra Ball, 3 rare candy, and like a couple other things, being able to Ultra Ball, Lele, get N, and just shuffle those candies back in instead of discarding them is very important. We are only playing 1 Lysander. You don't really need to play 2. You're one-shotting pretty much everything in the game. If you put a choice band on Solgaleo-GX, you can one-shot everything. So, like, in situations where you're playing against a GX Stage 2 that's got, like, 240, 250 HP, if you hold your choice bands and wait for that one-shot, you should be fine. But other than that, the Lysander's just there to knock out something that might be preventing us from doing our thing. Garbotox and Garbodor, you know, stuff of that nature. We are playing one Olympia. Getting hexed after you've Sunsteel Strike is really annoying, because then you just get stuck up with this really impossible to retreat big Mon. So being able to Olympia, get it out of the active is really, really important. We are playing a Skyla, just there to help us get to rare candy, essentially. 9 times out of 10 you play Skyla, it's going to get rare candy. And of course, a Bridget, because we need to be able to load up our bench turn 1. So, you know, if we open Cosmog, we're going to want to go get probably 2 more Cosmog and a Rayquaza, things of that nature. And might as well lump this in with the supporters. 4 Versus Seeker, because they're Versus Seeker. Being able to bring back any supporter in your yard is just really good, and it'll never be bad. So, the only tools we're playing are 2 Choice Band, just to help us get crucial knockouts we might end up needing. Other than that, you don't typically need them too often, though a Choice Banded Rayquaza can do a knockout under the right circumstances. What is it? If you have a Choice Band on Rayquaza, he can deal, is it 110, 170 between both of his attacks over a 2-turn time clock. So that can knock out some things if need be. Other than that, they're really just here to get crucial knockouts with Solgaleo on really big GXs. We are playing 4 Ultra Ball, just to be able to go get Lele and search any supporter we might need. Go search Solgaleo, go get Rayquaza if we desperately need it, you know, that kind of stuff. 2 Field Blower, just to get rid of items on Garbotox and Garbodor, stadiums that might be preventing us from really doing much, things like that. 1 Super Rod to get back energies or Rayquazas if we need them. Maybe we need a Cosmog back in the deck. Typically, we're just trying to put energies and Rayquaza back in the deck, because Rayquaza does get knocked out very easily. We're playing 1 Level Ball and 1 Heavy Ball to help us search out our Mons. Level Ball can get Cosmog and Cosmome. A Heavy Ball can get Cosmome and Solgaleo. We are playing 4 Rare Candy, because this is a Rare Candy deck. You are playing 4 of your Stage 1, 4 of your, or not 4 of your, 4 of your Basic, and 4 of your Stage 2 with only 2 Stage 1. You are trying to skip that Stage 1 altogether and just jump straight from Basic to Stage 2. So, that's it for the items. Last thing is energy. Now, we are playing 8 basic metal energy. You play a lot. Your Soul Bursting, Sunsteel Strike costs 3. You're playing a lot of energy. You're going to use a lot of energy. Rayquaza is not going to be able to bring back every energy, so you need to be attaching every turn. And we are playing 4 DCE for Drampa, Rayquaza, Lele, you know, all of them, because they both require double colorless. You got to be really careful with your DCEs, especially in a format so heavily loaded with Drampas. You can't just willy-nilly attach them. I would say a big reason I learned this is when I was in top 4 of the League Cup, I kind of just wasted a lot of my DCEs in the early game 3, in the early game. I just kept attaching them, and he just kept dropping them away. And I think that really ended up hurting me in the long run, and I should have been way more conservative with my DCEs. So make sure you're conservative with those DCEs. Don't just waste them. But that's all I've got for this deck. Tune in the rest of this week. We'll play some games. I'll show you how to pilot it. It's a really fun deck, and I think you guys will really enjoy it. But that's it for me, guys. As always, stay jolly.